Mermaids are popular in cultures all over the world, and many believe them to be real and still in existence. While scientists have yet to agree on their existence, pardon us if we do not believe them, since only 5% of the ocean has been explored. However, we have reason to believe mermaids exist due to numerous videos that prove their existence, including mermaids filmed underwater, mermaids washed ashore, a captured mermaid, and the skeleton of a baby mermaid. Do you want to find out more? Join us as we reveal several times people captured mermaids on camera. Mermaid washed on Karnataka's beach. On October 19, 2021, a bizarre scene unfolded on a beach in Karnataka, India. Fishermen spotted what looked like a mermaid tangled in one of their nets, lying helpless on the sand. At first, they thought it was just another sea creature, but as they got closer, it was clear that this was no ordinary catch. The being had long, flowing hair, a slim upper body that almost looked human, and a large fish-like tail that shone in the sunlight. The fishermen, unsure of what they were dealing with, decided to help free it from the net. But they were in for a shock. As they started, the creature let out a loud, eerie screech, startling everyone around. Despite the unsettling noise, they continued with the rescue. Once freed, however, the creature became aggressive, lunging at the fishermen before slipping back into the water. The sight left many on the beach in shock, convinced they had witnessed a real mermaid. While some skeptics believe it was just an elaborate prank, the video of the encounter has sparked a heated debate online. Was it a genuine sighting, or did a clever prank fool the fishermen? The truth remains unknown. Let's check out what some tourists captured on camera. Mermaid photographed by tourists. A group of tourists, enjoying a boat ride down a quiet river, filmed it. Everything seemed normal until they noticed something unusual: a strange blue figure sitting on a large rock far from the boat. Curiosity took over, and one of the tourists quickly pointed their camera toward the mysterious figure. At first, it was too far away to make out any details, but as they zoomed in, the shape became clearer, revealing a creature that looked a lot like a mermaid. Long hair, a slender upper body, and what seemed to be a tail dipping into the water. The video's owner, unable to confirm what they had witnessed, shared the footage online and asked viewers for their opinion. Was it an actual mermaid, a clever hoax, or just an unusual reflection on the water? Many have debated the video's authenticity, with some convinced it's real and others claiming it's just a coincidence of shadows and light. Mermaids recorded by a drone. Captured at Dana Point, California, it looks like a typical drone video of dolphins swimming together in large groups, a common sight as they often travel like this for safety. But as the drone gets closer, it becomes clear that these aren't ordinary dolphins. The camera catches a glimpse of something unusual: human-like arms slicing through the water, propelling the creatures forward. While dolphins have fins, they don't have arms like these, leaving viewers stunned. The graceful swimming style, almost like synchronized diving, gave a strong impression of something closer to humans than marine animals. Some believe the footage shows mermaids migrating together, moving swiftly beneath the surface in perfect harmony. Up next, another tourist group captures a mermaid sighting. Mermaid seen in Israel. Filmed by a group of tourists visiting Israel in 2013, the video shows something truly unexpected. The footage begins with a woman-like figure sitting calmly on a rock, just as the sea crashes around her. The creature turns its head toward the camera as the tourists zoom in, seemingly aware of its presence. Then, without warning, it slips back into the water, disappearing beneath the surface in seconds. Many viewers initially speculated that it might just be a seal, but the details don't quite add up. The figure appears much slimmer, with long black hair and a large fish-like tail glistening in the sunlight. Seals don't have hair like that, and they don't react to humans by darting away so quickly. Its speed and elegance as it dives into the waves have led some to believe it's a mermaid. Baby mermaid skeleton. In this clip, a TikToker's casual walk along a beach in the US took a shocking turn when he stumbled upon something truly strange. As he picked up what he first thought was a fish skeleton, he quickly realized it wasn't like anything he'd seen before. The skeleton had a fish-like lower half, but the upper part had small ribs, and a head that looked strangely human. Visibly shaken, the TikToker held the tiny bones up to the camera asking, "What the hell is this?"
Ma, you see this?
No. Oh my God.
Holy shit. What the hell is that?
The size of the skeleton suggested it belonged to a very young creature, almost like a baby. With the unusual mix of features, a fishtail combined with what looked like a miniature human skull. It's no wonder he was convinced it could be the remains of a baby mermaid. Viewers have been divided, with some agreeing it looks too real to be fake, while others argue it might just be an oddly shaped fish. But even the most skeptical viewers can't help but admit it doesn't look like any regular fish. Mermaid seen in Jamaica. In one of the most recent and widely reported sightings, a man in Jamaica captured something incredible on camera. He was walking along a quiet beach when he noticed a strange movement behind some rocks. As he got closer, he was stunned to see what looked like a mermaid peeking out from behind the rocky edge. The creature had a human-like face and long, flowing hair, and a tail that was half submerged in the water. The man, unable to believe what he was seeing, took a few steps back in shock, struggling to keep his phone steady. Just as he tried to get a clearer shot, the mermaid turned, glanced at him briefly, and then vanished into the water. Another bunch of tourists spot a mermaid in the next entry. Mermaid in Spain. Back in October 2013, a group of tourists sailing near Mallorca, Spain, caught something extraordinary on camera. It was a sunny afternoon, and the sea was calm when they noticed a mysterious figure sitting on a distant rock. At first, it seemed like just another sunbather, but as they looked closer, it became clear this wasn't a human. The figure had long, glistening hair and a tail that shimmered in the sunlight. The tourists couldn't believe what they were seeing and started pointing and shouting in excitement. It looked like the creature turned its head slightly, almost like it realized it had been spotted. Just as quickly as they noticed it, the figure slipped off the rock and disappeared into the water. Many believe it was a mermaid taking a rare moment to rest in the sun, while skeptics think it might have been a clever illusion or even a playful seal. Captured mermaid. In a shocking incident, a group of fishermen got way more than they bargained for while pulling in their catch. As they hauled up their heavy net, they immediately realized that something unusual was inside. This was not the typical load of fish. With excitement and a bit of confusion, they pulled the net onto the deck, only to realize it was no ordinary creature trapped inside. The moment it hit the deck, the creature started thrashing violently, trying to break free from the net. One of the fishermen leaned in closer, but in the struggle, the creature swung its arm, almost hitting him. That's when the camera caught a glimpse of its hand, webbed fingers, like nothing you'd see on any fish or human. The shaky footage makes it hard to see details, but it makes you wonder, could this really have been a mermaid fighting for its freedom? While some say it's fake, the fishermen swear it wasn't any animal they've ever seen before. Mermaids spotted in Mexico. In a breathtaking encounter, a man went snorkeling in the hidden caves near Cancun, Mexico, and stumbled upon something unexpected, a real mermaid. The video quality is surprisingly clear, showing the moment he dives into the crystal-clear waters of the Cenote Caves, a popular spot for underwater explorers. The group he was with had no idea what they were about to witness, and he happened to be the only one filming. As he swam through the dark cave system, the camera caught a glimpse of something unusual, a faint, human-like silhouette gliding past, just beyond the edge of the light. The figure had a long, flowing tail, clearly visible even in the dim light filtering through the water. For a brief second, it seemed to look back before disappearing into the shadows of the cave. The video has since been hailed as one of the most convincing pieces of evidence yet, leaving many people questioning what they saw. This next clip looks too good to be true. Mermaid recorded underwater. In this underwater footage, something remarkable was captured. A mermaid swimming gracefully as if she owned the ocean. The clip shows her gliding through the water with ease, her long tail moving smoothly, and her seeming completely unaware of any human presence. It's almost as if she felt safe, far from the prying eyes of the world above. But then something changes. Maybe she noticed the faint glow of the camera lens, or maybe it was just a sixth sense because she suddenly stopped and glanced around. For a split second, the mermaid looks straight at the camera before darting upward, disappearing into the depths. It leaves us wondering, do mermaids actually sense when they're being watched? This eerie moment has made many believe that we got closer to uncovering the truth than ever before. Mermaids swimming with dolphins. During a routine observation of a pod of dolphins, something unexpected happened. While dolphins are known to swim in large social groups, there was something else in the mix, another figure gracefully swimming alongside them. At first glance, it might seem like just another dolphin, but if you look closely, you'll spot the difference. The creature moving with the dolphins isn't quite like them. This figure had a long, flowing tail, far too slender and different from a dolphin's. It moved through the water with a fluidity that matched the dolphins, blending in as if it belonged there. From one angle, it might confuse anyone watching, but the more you pay attention, the clearer it becomes. There's a mermaid swimming among the dolphins. It's as if both species, the mythical and the marine, share a connection that's beyond what we could ever imagine. Mermaid in Croatia. Back in 2013, a man was preparing for a dive at a popular spot in Croatia. He set up his camera to record the beautiful view and capture his dive. What he didn't expect to see was something that would make him question everything. Just as he was about to dive in, something unusual leaped out of the water and quickly disappeared beneath the surface. The man stopped filming right away, eager to review what he had just seen. As he played the footage back in slow motion, there was no mistaking it. What he had caught on camera looked like a mermaid. This final entry will leave you questioning everything you know about mermaids. Mermaid in South Africa. People in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa, were shocked when they saw something strange. A child who looked like a mermaid and had a tail with fins on the sides was found asleep. The child's tail sparkled in the sun, making it look like it was still alive, but the small figure didn't move. People who were interested crowded around and poked at the tail to see what would happen. The mermaid child's tail moved a little, but it didn't wake up. People didn't understand where it came from or how something like this could exist. It was a crazy moment that made it hard to tell the difference between myth and reality. Do you believe mermaids are real? Which of these sightings do you think is real? As Joe Rogan's emotional reaction suggests, there's more to Antarctica than meets the eye. Whether it's the alarming rate of ice loss, the mysterious structures buried beneath the ice, or the whispers of government secrets, Antarctica is a place shrouded in mystery and controversy. In his tearful revelation, Rogan hinted at a hidden truth about Antarctica, a truth that defies the narratives we've been fed by mainstream media and government agencies. As one of the most influential voices in the world of podcasting, Rogan has never shied away from controversial topics or challenging the status quo. But when it comes to Antarctica, Rogan's perspective is unlike anything his audience has heard before. For decades, Antarctica has captured the imagination of explorers, scientists, and conspiracy theorists alike. Its large expanse of ice and snow holds clues to Earth's ancient past and potential future. But for Rogan, the truth about Antarctica goes much deeper than any conspiracy theory. Before we delve into what Joe Rogan found out about Antarctica, let's talk about what's currently happening with the continent. For the past 44 years, scientists have utilized satellites to monitor the expanse of ice floating on the ocean surrounding the extensive 184-mile coastline of Antarctica. Each year, the fringing waters of the continent undergo significant seasonal fluctuations. In late 2022, the sea ice reaches its maximum extent of approximately 6.9 million square miles, before diminishing to slightly above 772,000 square miles by early 2023. However, throughout these 4 decades of satellite observations, February 2023 witnessed the smallest amount of ice around the continent. Dr. Will Hobbs, an Antarctic sea ice expert associated with the Australian Antarctic Program Partnership at the University of Tasmania, noted that it became apparent quite quickly that a decline in ice extent was inevitable, with no close contest. According to Dr. Hobbs, there is a reduction in ice cover across all regions, spanning the entire Antarctic circumference. During the Southern Hemisphere summer of 2022, The sea ice extent dropped to 741,000 square miles in February 2023, marking an unprecedented all-time low according to satellite records dating back to 1979. However, by mid-February of the same year, the record from 2022 had already been exceeded. The ice continued to diminish, reaching a new low of 691,000 square miles on February 25th, surpassing the previous record by 52.5 thousand square miles, an area twice the size of Tasmania. During the southern hemisphere's spring, strong winds over western Antarctica battered the ice. Simultaneously, large areas in the west of the continent had barely recovered from losses in the preceding year. Hobbs explained that because sea ice has high reflectivity, it's resistant to melting from sunlight. However, if there's open water behind it, that can accelerate the melting process from beneath. Hobbs and fellow scientists noted that the latest record-breaking event, the third occurrence within 6 years, has triggered a quest for answers among polar researchers. The destiny of Antarctica, particularly its land-based ice, holds significant importance due to the continent's vast ice reserves, which could substantially elevate sea levels if they were to melt. While the melting of sea ice itself doesn't directly contribute to sea level rise since it's already floating, several scientists informed The Guardian about indirect repercussions that can happen. Sea ice is a protective barrier against the impact of storms on coastal ice formations. If its presence diminishes over extended periods, heightened wave activity can weaken the floating ice shelves, which in turn support the immense ice sheets and glaciers situated on land. A notable area of concern is the conspicuous reduction in ice around the Amundsen and Bellinghausen seas in the west of the continent. Despite an overall increase in the average sea ice extent around the continent until 2014, these adjacent seas experienced declines. This is concerning because the region encompasses the vulnerable Thwaites Glacier, often dubbed the Doomsday Glacier because of its capacity to elevate sea levels by half a meter. But what exactly is a Doomsday Glacier? Wait until you see what we discovered. 20 years ago, the world witnessed a chilling spectacle as an area of ice estimated to weigh nearly 500 billion tons dramatically fragmented from the Antarctic continent, scattering into thousands of icebergs across the Weddell Sea. The Larsen B ice shelf, spanning an impressive 1,255 square miles, was already notorious for its rapid melting, but the speed and scale of its disintegration caught even seasoned glaciologists off guard. In just 1 month, the 656-foot-thick mass crumbled entirely, leaving behind a shattered landscape that seemed straight out of a disaster movie. Glaciologists who had dedicated their lives to studying these icy behemoths were not only astonished by the magnitude of the event, but also by the sheer rapidity of the collapse. One researcher vividly described the scene, likening it to a colossal wall crumbling into countless bricks, each one representing a piece of Antarctica's fragile ice shelves. But as shocking as the demise of Larsen B was, it was a grim harbinger of even more dire developments unfolding on the West Antarctic ice sheet, particularly along the Antarctic Peninsula. At a gathering of ice scientists in New Orleans, grave warnings were sounded about the precarious state of the Thwaites Glacier, one of the largest and most significant glaciers on the planet. Extensive research conducted by British and American teams revealed ominous signs of instability, with significant cracks and crevasses forming both on the surface and deep beneath the glacier's icy facade. The implications of a potential collapse of the Thwaites Glacier are nothing short of catastrophic. This colossal ice giant, roughly the size of Britain, holds enough water to elevate global sea levels by over half a meter, a sobering thought for coastal communities worldwide. Dubbed the Doomsday Glacier, Thwaites Glacier is responsible for about 4% of the annual rise in global sea levels, making it a focal point of concern for scientists and policymakers alike. Satellite observations paint a grim picture of Thwaites Glacier's accelerating demise, with melting rates far surpassing anything observed in the 1990s. The once stable behemoth is now crumbling at an alarming pace, raising fears that segments of the glacier could fracture and collapse in the next 5 years or even sooner. The collapse of Larsen B and the impending threat posed by Thwaites Glacier are stark reminders of how fragile Antarctica's ice shelves are. It also shows the urgent need for concerted global action to address the root causes of climate change. As temperatures rise and ice continues to melt at unprecedented rates, the fate of Antarctica, and indeed the entire planet, hangs in the balance. It's a race against time to preserve our icy wilderness and secure a sustainable future for generations to come. Now, back to the ongoing events with Antarctica. Professor Matt England's warnings about the importance of preserving sea ice in vulnerable regions housing Antarctic ice shelves couldn't be more urgent. As an oceanographer and climate scientist at the University of New South Wales, his insights shed light on the critical role sea ice plays in protecting these colossal ice structures and the massive ice sheets they buttress. Without this protective barrier, we risk accelerating the loss of ice and triggering devastating consequences for our planet. Moreover, the alarming data provided by scientists Dr. Rob Massam from the Australian Antarctic Division and Dr. Phil Reed from the Bureau of Meteorology paints a vivid picture of Antarctica's changing landscape. In January 2023, an astonishing 2/3 of Antarctica's coastline was exposed to open water, a stark departure from the long-term average of approximately 50%. This unprecedented level of sea ice retreat shows the magnitude of the warming trends gripping the continent and signals potentially dangerous feedback mechanisms that could exacerbate the situation. The consequences of such drastic changes extend far beyond Antarctica's icy shores. As sea ice diminishes, it not only jeopardizes the stability of ice shelves and ice sheets, but also threatens to unleash a cascade of impacts on global climate patterns, sea levels, and ecosystems. From coastal flooding to disrupted ocean currents, the repercussions of Antarctica's melting ice reverberate across the globe, affecting millions of lives and countless species. But what exactly is the main cause of the ice covers reducing, and how long has this been happening? Let's find out. What's the main cause of the ice covers reducing, and how long has this been going on? Let's break it down. Antarctica's ice covers are shrinking because our planet is getting warmer. And guess what's causing that? Humans' love for burning fossil fuels, chopping down trees, and all the other things that release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. In essence, the main cause of Antarctica's ice cover reduction can be attributed to a combination of natural processes and human-induced climate change. This phenomenon has been occurring over a significant period, but it has accelerated in recent decades due to anthropogenic activities. Antarctica, the southernmost continent on Earth, is home to the largest ice sheet on the planet, containing about 90% of the world's freshwater ice. This ice sheet plays a crucial role in regulating global climate patterns and sea levels. However, in recent years, Antarctica has experienced significant ice loss, primarily driven by rising temperatures and changing environmental conditions. As we mentioned earlier, the main cause of Antarctica's ice cover reduction is global warming, which is primarily due to the increase in greenhouse gas emissions resulting from human activities, such as burning fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial processes. These emissions trap heat in the Earth's atmosphere, leading to a rise in global temperatures. As a result, Antarctica's ice sheets and glaciers have been melting at an accelerated rate. The process of ice loss in Antarctica can be understood through different mechanisms. One of the primary factors is the warming of the surrounding ocean waters. As the atmosphere warms, ocean temperatures also increase, causing the ice shelves that fringe Antarctica to melt from below. This process, known as basal melting, weakens the structural integrity of the ice shelves, making them more susceptible to collapse. Another contributing factor to Antarctica's ice loss is surface melting. As the climate warms up, the surface ice and snow in Antarctica start to melt, creating pools of water. But here's the kicker. Those pools of water act like little sponges, soaking up more heat from the sun and speeding up the melting process even more. It's a feedback loop that's causing Antarctica's ice covers to thin out and retreat at an alarming rate. Furthermore, changes in atmospheric circulation patterns, such as the strengthening of westerly winds around Antarctica, can also contribute to ice loss. These winds drive warmer air towards the continent, further increasing temperatures and promoting melting. The timeline of Antarctica's ice loss can be traced back to the late 20th century, when scientists began observing significant changes in the region. Satellite observations and ice core data indicate that Antarctica's ice sheets have been losing mass since the 1990s, with the rate of loss accelerating in the early 21st century. In recent decades, the pace of ice loss in Antarctica has reached alarming levels. According to studies published by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, also known as IPCC, Antarctica is losing ice at a rate of over 100 gigatons per year, contributing to rising sea levels worldwide. This rapid ice loss has profound implications for coastal communities, biodiversity, and global climate stability. The evidence of Antarctica's ice loss is undeniable, and its consequences are already being felt around the world. As ice continues to melt at an accelerated pace, sea levels rise, threatening coastal communities with increased flooding, erosion, and saltwater intrusion. Moreover, the loss of ice in Antarctica is disrupting ecosystems and biodiversity, putting species at risk and altering the delicate ecological balance. The findings of the IPCC show the urgent need for action to address climate change and mitigate its impacts by reducing greenhouse gas emissions, transitioning to renewable energy sources, and implementing sustainable land use practices. We can help slow the rate of ice loss in Antarctica and mitigate the associated risks. The consequences of Antarctica's diminishing ice covers extend far beyond the continent itself. As ice melts, it contributes to sea level rise, threatening low-lying coastal areas and island nations around the world. Rising sea levels can lead to increased flooding, erosion, and saltwater intrusion, impacting millions of people and ecosystems. Antarctica plays an essential role in regulating global climate patterns through its influence on ocean circulation and atmospheric dynamics. As these ice sheets shrink, they mess with the planet's natural cooling system and cause shifts in weather patterns, ocean currents, and precipitation distribution worldwide. The loss of Antarctica's ice covers also has implications for biodiversity and ecosystem dynamics in the region. Antarctic ecosystems are adapted to cold and icy conditions, and changes in ice cover can disrupt habitats, alter food webs, and threaten the survival of species such as penguins, seals, and krill. In addition to its environmental significance, Antarctica holds cultural, scientific, and geopolitical importance for humankind. The continent serves as a living laboratory for scientific research, offering insights into Earth's climate history, geology, and biodiversity. Moreover, Antarctica is governed by an international treaty system that regulates human activities on the continent and promotes peaceful cooperation among nations. Addressing the challenges posed by Antarctica's diminishing ice covers requires concerted global action to mitigate climate change and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. This includes transitioning to renewable energy sources, implementing policies to limit carbon emissions, and promoting sustainable land use practices. Furthermore, efforts to protect Antarctica's unique ecosystems and biodiversity are essential for preserving the continent's ecological integrity and ensuring the survival of its iconic species. By creating protected areas, regulating activities like fishing and tourism, and investing in research and conservation, we can ensure Antarctica remains a symbol of resilience and wonder. Addressing these challenges requires urgent and coordinated action to mitigate climate change, protect Antarctica's ecosystems, and promote sustainable development practices worldwide. Now that we know the reason behind the melting ice covers, we need to know who Joe Rogan is and how he's linked to this event. What is Joe Rogan's opinion about Antarctica's reduction in ice covers? Joe Rogan, the renowned podcast host, influential figure, and conspiracy theorist in the world of entertainment and media, has expressed his thoughts on various topics, including climate change and environmental issues. While Joe Rogan is primarily known for his candid conversations and diverse range of guests, his views on specific subjects like the reduction of ice covers in Antarctica have been somewhat reflective of broader societal discourse. When it comes to environmental issues like climate change, Rogan's approach is pretty interesting. Sure, he's had scientists and activists on his show who are all about sounding the alarm on climate change. Kindly share your answers, thoughts, and opinions in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel to enjoy more videos like this. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.